Good afternoon. Welcome to my daily broadcast. My name is Barry Selby. Let's jump into the introduction first, now get into how the day's been. It's been quite a day. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And I'm also a passionate champion of the divine feminine, which is what today's about. This is number 300. The big, I didn't have a sign, I should put it something like 300, 300. Wow, wow, wow. You know, kind of, it's kind of like, wow, that's an experience. But it hit me because I was on a summit interview, a prep call for another summit, and a call with somebody else to be on my upcoming series, and a client call, and there was something else in there too. So I had a lot of stuff going on today. But what came through as one of the reminders through the whole message was about divine feminine. And in fact, the summit interview I just had earlier, we did a postscript, which was a chapter in her book she's writing. She wanted me to do the video for. She wanted to speak about it because she's talking about the divine feminine. And since I say I'm a passionate champion of the divine feminine, she said, explain that. So I thought, I'll do that for you as well. So the topic today, as you may have seen for the title, is what is the divine feminine? And why is it needed now more than ever? I think I put now more than ever on there. If I didn't, I'll edit it afterwards. Because it is needed now more than ever. So, if you haven't seen my broadcast before, thanks for joining me. And if you have seen them before, thanks for coming back. If you haven't, in fact, let me just give you some housekeeping stuff up front so you have that, and then I'll get into the topic. If you haven't seen my broadcast before, I do this every day. And this is number 300 in an ongoing series. Yes, the big 300. The big 300. Yeah, that. These talks are about relationships, masculine and feminine polarity, sexuality, romance, dating, apps, all sorts of stuff like that, as well as finding a purpose and living your truth, etc., etc. So there's a wide gamut of topics, and you can find all of those on my business page on Facebook, which is Barry Selby the author, as well as on my YouTube channel, which is Barry Selby, and the playlist is Messages from the Masculine, or on my website, which is barryselby.com, and you click on Messages from the Masculine. Sorry, you'll play on video blog there, where you'll see all the messages from the masculine listed in reverse order. If you feel like sharing this out with your friends, feel free to do so. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them below, and I'll get to them as I go through. I'm doing this up front because I want to get into this topic and see where it goes. It might be very short. We'll see. So the topic, the conversation today is, what is the divine feminine? And I may ruffle some feathers because when I was sharing today on the interview, I said some things like, oh, some people aren't going to like me saying that, but I need to say it. First of all, this is a guy, not a girl. So just so you know where I'm speaking from, is from a masculine place. And that's the work I've been studying and working with big time for the last 11 and a half years, give or take. And part of that discovery for me about owning my masculine is to really start discovering and honoring the divine feminine as well, because it's the polarity. And it wasn't until I really owned and embodied myself in my masculine and learned what that was about that I really saw women in the feminine. So it was kind of that polarity that became, oh, now I understand. So I'm going to explain that to you and share it with you, and also give you some thoughts as well about what I think we're actually moving into versus where we were. Context. That's what I'm going to start with. That's the heading. Context first. I had shared yesterday about I was talking about where this is related in other ways, and watch how I get there. Watch this magic trick. Yesterday I was doing the Facebook Live. I talked about no is respectful, not rejecting. And I was talking about in that broadcast about a movie I saw on Monday night called The Feminists. What are they thinking? What were they thinking? In particular, about Jane Fonda's comment about how no is a complete statement, a complete sentence. So that movie was part of the reminder to me, which I talked about before, way before this, about the sexual revolution of the 1960s, which this movie was had a lot of... sorry, adjusting myself here. It was a big change in society. Back in the 70s, women couldn't even open their own bank accounts without their husband's signature. That wasn't that long ago. I was actually more than a baby at that time. So I remember those days. So it's very strange to look back now and see how far we've come, and yet how far we haven't come. So, in the 60s, with the sexual revolution, women were provided the opportunity to step out of the framework they've been in before, which is very old-fashioned in some ways, traditional, and basically claim their freedom in a lot of ways. Now, for a lot of women out there, perhaps if not you, then your mothers, were passionate about exploring the world, getting out and being themselves and taking care of business and being self-sufficient and independent. And to do that, the vehicle most women chose to do was go out to work. So, oh, you do? Oh, well, I'm glad. I remember my mum too, but she was actually before that, so she didn't actually enjoy this time. So, but thank you for the comments, Sarita. I appreciate that. So, women, particularly the ones who were single, more than the ones who were married at that time, were claiming their space in the world by taking up their claim to be in business. So a lot of women were, and I mentioned this before, like burning their bras, cutting their hair, putting on suits and going to work, acting like men, because that's the way you succeed in business, was to be in the same place that men were working, which is the business world. And that was the framework that a lot of women went through back in the mid-60s, late 60s, through until, well, pretty much now. I mean, certainly through the 90s. A lot of women have been functioning in the world, in business, in corporate, in commerce, like the men do. And I was on the conversation in the summit today, as I mentioned, I was being interviewed. I said one of the challenges women face is how do they decompress, reset, and connect back to their feminine when they do work like that in the business world? Because women, ladies, you basically have to, if you're in the corporate structure, emulate, copy the way men work, which means you've got to keep acting in your masculine to do it. And that isn't actually healthy for you, and it certainly doesn't help your love life. So I might get back to that one in a moment too. So, part of that transformation that's been happening since then is women have been waking up to claim their goddesshood, their femininity on that level, which is a powerful place to be, and I'm very much a fan of that, although I have a caveat, and I'll get to that caveat in a moment. So, women working 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever, crazy hours to work in business, and then would come home and in the last maybe 10 years, I mentioned that long, maybe 10, maybe 12 years, women have been gathering on the weekends and the evenings with other women, and being in LA, this happens a lot, maybe it doesn't happen in other places, but certainly in LA it does, where women would gather together and form goddess circles, and they would go down to the beach perhaps and run around by the sunset in barefoot in the sand and feeling very connected to the earth, and wearing silks and flowing robes and really connecting to their softness and their femininity and their flow, which is awesome. And here comes the caveat. And how do I jump into this in a polite way? There we go. Okay, I had to see how I was going to put it together, so I'm glad you waited for me. I talk about the divine feminine for a very particular reason. The goddess movement is a feminization for a lot of women to connect back to their softness, their flow, and their feminine energetic from being in the masculine heart, or masculine model, should we say. Back to the feminine heart, excuse me. The divine feminine, for me, is the next step, and that's the caveat I was talking about. The goddess movement itself, I believe, is incomplete. It's a powerful and a vital stepping stone for many women to claim back their feminine nature, and it's not the destination. Now, I know a lot of women are going to get upset with me for saying that, but I'm just letting you know what I think is happening, and I feel is happening from an observer's point of view. Not participant, obviously, but from an observer's point of view. And seeing so many women who are embracing the goddess movement, which is wonderful, is wonderful. And I want to say this to you, if you're in that process, is keep going. My belief, my passionate, firm belief for women to own, claim, and embrace your feminine power is to take the step beyond goddess into what I'm right now as a label, this is the one I'm going to come up with, is to move from that into priestess. Yes, priestess. And this isn't a very modern term, it's actually a very ancient term, but I feel what's happening energetically is that the women who are moving through the feminine and owning the feminine in the world, the goddess component is a key part of the journey. But the true power is when you move into the priestess, which for me is exemplified by the qualities of decisiveness and leadership, compassionate guidance, spiritual connection, divine authority, the power of the warrior embraced in that too, because to me the priestess also embraced a warrior consciousness, a presence. And I'm using a lot of archetypal terms, but I hope you get where I'm going with the feeling of this, because this is what I'm trying to impart, is this feeling level. For me, the divine feminine is a woman who, and I mean this from the feminine, from a women's perspective, because I know I've talked about before how we all, men and women, carry both masculine and feminine energetics within us. But I'm talking about the divine feminine as embodied and embraced and expressed by a woman. It carries the august and almost regal nature of the priestess, because it does enroll a level of monarchy in this too. So monarchy, warrior, spiritual connection, all together in one thing called a priestess. The place of power this brings is one that is plugged in and connected to our source, overviewing and seeing the way the world works, and perhaps biggest piece of all is a guiding influence on the way the world moves forward. Yes, this is one of those manifesto things again. I did one of these on Sunday, I think, or Saturday. I talked about this. Sunday was a manifesto that came out. This is another piece of it, I think. The way the world is right now is, if you're watching from any perspective I'm seeing things from, in some ways in dire straits, because there's been things that are needed that aren't being done, and there are things that people are doing that aren't helping anybody. Now, I'm being very vague about that, so you can take from what you wish. My feeling is going forward for the planet and the people on it to survive and thrive, the feminine, the divine feminine, power, authority, leadership, compassion, and insight is very much needed. Basically, we don't have a hope without that. We as a human race don't have a hope without the feminine stepping up, stepping in, stepping forward. And so this part 2 of my manifesto, apparently, is to express that. So to celebrate my 300th broadcast, I'm just putting out a manifesto. That's what seems to be happening. It is what it is. So I'm not sure as much else I want to say about this. This is more about giving you some food for thought and to present some ideas and to offer my thoughts, having been on these talks today, that really got me thinking more about how the divine feminine expresses, how it's needed, and what we are headed towards if we do it right. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that goes with that. I think that might be it. I know, actually speaking to a client today, this is going to be a little bit detour for a second, so bear with me. How she was used by the man she was with, and it really, and this is one reason I'm passionate about this stuff, is feeling what was really in a way almost protective fury in me to protect her from this sorry example of a man. Really triggered me in a lot of ways, and it was almost, and the good news was that grateful to know I have tools and skills, and I can give her some guidance to really help her through this. In fact, I think she's going to be way more powerful after she does the homework I gave her. I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. Is this sense of how many women have been under the thumb, have been at the receiving end of abuse by men, physically, emotionally, mentally, and sexually, where women have been believing that that was their lot in life, and it's not true. This talk about giving back the divine feminine is the true nature for women to express and own, and I'm realizing more and more how many women don't even know they have that aspect, and in fact they have been convinced by the propaganda of men that they can't have it. So I'm perhaps standing against that tidal wave of propaganda to say, no, not so. Ladies, you have innate within you this powerful gift called the divine feminine that we need. As much as men are afraid of it, it's what we need more than anything else to support us in thriving, support this planet in thriving, and support us all in having healthy lives going forward. So ladies, bring it on. Yeah, that was clean enough. I had to make sure I keep some boundaries on what I was saying to keep confidentiality and privacy as well. But I think that's really it. That is what I want to say. Is the divine feminine is what it is and when we need it. Mission accomplished. So, thank you for watching my broadcast. I think this is going to be it unless any questions or thoughts come up. This is number 300, my 300th broadcast. Made it through. Now let's see if I want to go for 400. We'll see. I'm planning to keep going, but we'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining with me. I appreciate you being here. If you want some help in the area of love and relationships, please reach out to me. I'm particularly offering, for those who are interested, for the women especially, if you're not sure how to work through this or get stuck in the areas of your life and you want to get more love, more joy, more celebration, I talked about that. Marsha, you have to go back and watch the broadcast again. I talked about that earlier. Let me say this: with authority, with compassion, with clarity, with spiritual insight, and with power. That's how divine feminine expresses. That's a summary of that. For those of you who are interested in looking for more help in the area of love and relationships, I can offer you a special gift, which is my. That's okay. I understand, Marsha. You got in the back end. I started early. Well, I've actually started on time this time. I'm offering rewind. Yes. For those who are looking for help, I've said this so many times. If you want help in love and relationships, I'm offering a free gift. It's a complimentary clarity conversation. My gift to you: 30 minutes of time, where we can talk, and I can help you get some clarity where you want to go, and also offer you what's available in my programs and coaching. If that fits for you, great. If not, it's fine too. Go to my website, which is barryselby.com, where you'll find on the video blog these broadcasts. And also, if you go to the left-hand top corner of the screen, you'll see a Let's Chat button. Click on that, fill out the form, and schedule a time with me. That's my gift to you. With that, your homework. Homework tonight? What are going to do for homework? You know what? Give me the night off. It's my 300th. Wrong teeth. It's my 300th broadcast. No homework tonight. Have fun. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye.